Welcome back to Cheche, live on Citizen TV. At last count, more than 10 counties had governors and deputies with fractious relationships. Kisumu, Kisii, Bomet, Turkana, and Machakos, to name a few. While the governor of Machakos County, Dr. Alfred Mutua, is our guest today, as is the deputy governor of Nairobi, Jonathan Mweke. So before the break, we sort of explored the parameters, why we have these frosty relationships, and you identified, not enough time to suss people out, constituency-based, selections. Is there something to be said? Would you accept that where you have coalitions that came together, say CORD, where the governor's from ODM and the deputy governor is from Wiper, that there seems to be a better relationship? Does that make sense? Is that true? Actually,
it would be the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, it actually would be the opposite, because if one coalition brings a person to work with another coalition, that's where really you should expect the friction, because these people don't know each other. It's like a arranged marriage, that you don't really know each other. And that's where the maturity really needs to come in to be able to work. But where you're allowed to pick really your own deputy governor, you shouldn't have an issue.
One of our viewers asked the question to you, Dr. Mutua. You picked your deputy governor. You're not getting on very well. Would you select him again if you had a choice?
Well, I don't think the choice would be there, because he's already declared he's running for governor against me. So I think he'll be busy trying to choose his own deputy governor as his running mate. So I'll have to shop elsewhere and find somebody who is more up to work. And I think.
And so, what would you be looking for this time around? What lessons have you learned?
Yeah, the lessons that I've learned is that I need to find somebody who's not greedy, somebody who is focused on the vision that Mwananchi comes first, second, third, up to 10. Somebody who is able, who is willing to sacrifice their own comforts for the sake of getting the work done. Somebody who is willing to, when I'm on this corner, they're on this corner. Somebody who is, I work hard myself, and I work fast, and I work relentlessly. My people complain that I overwork them, because I can work day and night, because at the end of the day, I need to deliver the water, I need to deliver the road. I work endlessly, so I don't want to be the only person working. I want a deputy who can also keep up to my stamina to deliver to the people, because we are trying to catch up with over 50 years of neglect, 50 years of lost time. So that's the kind of person that I'd like to get. But also somebody who understands that, somebody who is able to bid their time, somebody who knows that if they do a good job, I only have one more term to go, I'll hand over, I'll tell people who you tosha, anajua kazi tulikuwa na yeye, anaendelea, not somebody wants to take over a week after we get into power.
So that he has announced, for example, in your case, that he's contesting against you next year, would that be reason enough for you to frustrate him, deny him his official car, lock his office, and such like things?
That I don't think it's proper to actually deny your deputy his rights.
Are you telling us that you haven't done that?
Yeah. No, we've not done that. I think there's misinformation, and it's good to set it right here.
Okay,
nobody has denied. Let me just give you the breakdown that just answering his question. His car, his official car, he has a car, and
no, he doesn't.
He has a car. What he did with his car is that he took his car that had green county plates. He went ahead and put the plates, I think, of a lorry or a bus. The car was pulled over in Nairobi by the police. It's actually in custody in Embakasi, not with me. The car is there. So am I going to fish another car and give it to him when he's breaking the law? No. In terms of medical insurance, he's fully covered with medical insurance.
No, he's not.
He is fully covered, because everybody is covered under one package. You cannot eliminate somebody from the cabinet in terms of cover. He's covered because we have to follow the rule according to Madam, what's her name? Serene's orders. It's fully covered. It's his right. Today, if you went to Nairobi hospital, he's fully covered. If you went to any other hospital, he's fully covered, And you look at issues of his office is right there. If you go today, Bwana Mweke, to his office, you'll find a secretary, you'll find a desk. He doesn't come to work. His office is there. He can walk in any time. Nobody stops him. He doesn't come to work. He's out there campaigning. No. There's so much that you can do, So nothing has been denied of him. You know what I mean?
I think
so if he writes a letter saying he wants to go for a trip, and it is justified, and it's something that felt by cabinet that it's right.
He's never gone for a trip.
So Dr. Mutua, again, your deputy is not here, but Mr. Mweke, you say you have some information.
Yeah, because I'm very competent to talk on the Machakos situation. Yeah, and I just, Dr. Mutua, I want us to be very frank, because this is a very good opportunity.
Where does your competence
how does your competence come in, by the way?
Come in because I was a former official of the Deputy Governors Forum. So we have an association where all Deputy Governors sit down to share.
And did you verify whatever information you are given, whatever rumors or propaganda you are given?
Yes.
Did you write to us as a... No, let me just finish.
Yes.
Did you write to us or write to me and make a claim A, B, C, D?
Yes, we did.
And was there a reply? Was there a reply of each and everything?
Yes, we did.
Did you counter check? Because you need to be very...
Yes, we did.
Okay.
You need to be very... I'm just telling him that you watch what you're saying carefully, because I want you to be accurate and not...
said to you, Dr. Mutua.
And not...
The same could be said to you.
And not like...
In most cases, we are giving a benefit of doubt. Yeah. We don't have circumstantial evidence.
Yes,
you don't
hear, but I do. What we did in the case of Machakos, actually we were mature enough to say, listen, this relationship in Machakos is going to spoil the names of the counties. And one of the roles and responsibilities of a governor is to ensure that you hold your county together. It's actually now law, right? And we sat down very maturely as deputy governors and decided to mediate. So we went and we spoke to the Council of Governors chair, then it was Bomet governor, and we told him, listen, we have a very big problem in Machakos that can spoil the name of the counties. The deputy governor wants to fix it. Can we fix it? So the chair appointed 3 governors, Kivuda Kibwana, Akaranga, Akaranga of Vihiga, and I think it was Lusaka of Bungoma, and said, okay, you guys, not Lusaka, it was Mvuria of Kwale, yeah, and said, you guys, 3 governors, please call your colleague, let's have a hearing within the governor and the deputy governor so that we can speak. Dr. Mutua was called, he refused to come. So the governors disbanded their committee and said, listen, we've called the governor of Machakos. He said those are Machakos issues that he doesn't want to deal with a mediation. Yeah, so that stopped. Now, why it became that serious is because, number one, Dr. Mutua withdrew the official car of the deputy governor, so he can't work. Number 2, withdrew all his staff. Number 3, withdrew his health insurance. Yeah. Number 4, withdrew all allowances. I think the only thing he's on is the salary, just because Dr. Mutua doesn't have the power to withdraw the salary. He has the power to withdraw all those other things, right? Dr. Mutua is the only governor in this country who's gone and impeached his deputy governor. Do you know what I mean? So I'd like even to flip this question the other way. You ask the governor of Machakos, how would he pick a running mate? I'd like to flip that question. Would anybody want to be Dr. Alfred Mutua's running mate, seeing the way he treated his deputy governor? I think anybody in Machakos would sit down and think, my goodness, yes, I might get the privilege of being elected on a ticket with the governor of Machakos, and then I can't even provide basic health to my family because myself and the governor have disagreed on an issue. So, Dr. Mutua, I don't even think you'll be able to find a running mate.
Can I reply to that?
Yes, go ahead.
No, running mates are my problem right now is not getting into the same trap I got into last time. Let me reply to those things. First of all, this purported committee is talking about, nobody wrote to me or talked to me about it. I'm hearing it for the first time here. So maybe their channel of communication through the Council of Governors never worked. Nobody communicated to me about a meeting. You'd have heard about it, that Mutua snubs. You know, I never was called for a meeting that I snubbed. That issue never came up. The other issue is on the issue of the insurance. I can assure you today, and you can double check, and anybody here can double check, no medical insurance was withdrawn from Mr. Kiara as my deputy. And I don't want to make him an issue here. The other thing is that, you know, when you work with somebody, it is an open secret that the senator for Machakos said that if I got elected as a governor, he would resign. He was opposing me from the word go because he knew that I am focused, I'm clear-minded, I'm not a sycophant. And so as soon as he got in, he started opposing me, you know, throwing barbs here and there. Now, my fallout with Mr. Kiala is that here we are, the senator is trying to remove me because I'm not, you know, subscribing to this old school politics, and my deputy governor gets into the same car, into the same house, into the same bed with the senator, and they start working together underhand to try and remove me. So you find that now you've got a traitor in your own house who has been promised things. Actually, that was the main fallout with Mr. Kiala. Apart from his other issues that I had sat down with him, told him, listen, don't get involved in tenders. Listen, you need to get to work on time. Listen,
and what did you assign him at the start of your relationship? What duties?
Well, he was my minister in charge of ICT and labor and public service. And
so what does he do now, given the frosty relationship?
He's my deputy governor.
Still.
He's
no
cabinet
governor. Portfolio.
No cabinet portfolio because he failed in his cabinet duties, because we told him to do. I'm very big in trying to modernize Machakos, and one of the biggest things was to try and do street and house numbering. Very simple work that I gave to him. He was unable to do it. I mean, I can talk about many things, but we are not yet.
And he would also talk about many things
to defend himself.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing is, when you're working with a governor, you're elected together as a team, and you now start becoming a traitor, working with the enemy,
but again,
who is trying to remove you from office. You know what I mean? Then you can't even trust this person. And I can tell you here, it got so bad because here he is. Intelligence are telling me, be careful of this guy. He spent half of last evening with the senator. They are doing this and this. You call him in the morning, you ask him, I'm being told, I have pictures here, you're with the senator, you're plotting against me. The guy denies. You know, I was expecting.
Well, he might have denied plotting against you, but not meeting with the senator. So let's move on, because again, he's not here to.
And it's not about
yes, it's not about right. But what we've taken from this conversation, Mr. Mweke, you talked about leadership. You've talked about trust.
Yes.
Whether it exists between the two. I'll come to the panelists now, because from both our guests we hear, of a relationship that has broken down. Should there be any sanctions for governors who behave in the manner that Mr. Mweke alleges that Dr. Mutua has behaved towards his deputy? Is there a way of ensuring that governors, and deputies, should they breach any sort of official or professional conduct, they should be sanctioned in some shape?
Clearly, as it is, and from what we can see in Machakos, for example, and many other regions, Kisumu, Turkana, Bomet, and the likes, there is need to have all this written down on how the deputies and the governors should operate, so that it's a clear thing. And nobody takes advantage of the lacuna, that because there is no clear law on this, because like Mr. Mweke wishes, if all was nice and rosy, people should relate well. But it can't happen because some people feel there is no law. Although Mr. Mutua was talking about greed, he forgot to talk about selfishness. I think the deputy governors are greedy, the governors are selfish. They want to keep it all to themselves in situations where it's not working. So the solution would just be law. Put it in writing.
And you could argue that they feel threatened. Just a minute, I want to come to Mutegi. Mutegi, what do you reckon?
I think the president and the deputy president have worked very well. Even without a law. Just there's the same thing, but they work very well. They select each other. They have the same challenges. I think what Charles is saying is proper. In view of the fact that there's failing, we need to have something, some definition of what actually should be done, so that if the deputy governor of Machakos is given nothing, there is something to rely on. He can go back to something and say, at least the deputy governor will do certain things. But as of now, he stays with nothing.
So from what I'm hearing, Mutegi, is that you're advocating some sort of strengthening of the law. I think the Senate is considering something at the moment, but they could consider that. But where do individuals and egos come in? Because as we have seen, where the Constitution works, we have gone to court to attempt to mutilate it. So does that achieve anything?
I don't think you can legislate relationships. Yeah? I think what we probably need to look at is a dispute resolution mechanism. Yeah.
And the way that the political parties have one.
Because people disagree. I mean, have I disagreed with Governor Kidero? Absolutely, yeah. But that has not caused any problems because we sit down, we communicate, we resolve our disputes together, and if you're not able to, then you find a third party that both of you respect, yeah, and you whatever. But it has to be willing from twice. Again, like I'd mentioned before, we set up a team of governors in Machakos, it didn't work. I sit in the highest decision-making organ of the Wiper Party, the summit. I know, Dr. Mutua, we've called you many times to come so that we can fix your relationship as a party, because you're both Wiper members. Dr. Mutua has refused to come. So you have to have a point where you both agree that there's a problem, and for the greater good of our people, let us sit down and resolve this problem. So I think it has to be some sort of formal dispute resolution mechanism.
How would that work, though? I mean, you're denying any sort of truculence, but how would that work if you had someone who behaves in the manner that you say that Dr. Mutua has behaved? You go for mediation, refuses. He tells us here that he didn't receive any communication. You call him, through the party mechanisms, he doesn't come. So
I think you formalize that dispute resolution. You see, what we did was kind of like the Wazee kind of thing, yeah? Like if you go into the village, you can solve a dispute by going to the chief, but that is just informally, or you can go to court and do it formally. So I think here this is probably somewhere where the ministry, I think this is probably where the Ministry of Devolution needs to come in, because it's at a national level, it's above the counties. And if you don't take care of the counties, then there's no country.
How does that
I think the Ministry of Devolution must come in and say, listen, we must protect Kenya. And if we're having a very serious problem, because I mentioned earlier, and I think I want you guys and the viewers to take me very seriously. You could cause a problem in your counties that can never be resolved in your lifetime, where two communities start fighting each other.
And I was coming to put that question to you, Charles, because with this suggestion about dispute resolution work in a place like Kisumu, where we know that the governor and the deputy governor have not been seeing eye to eye. In fact, you now have this sort of, differences. You're trying to discriminate between people who were born and bred in Kisumu and people who have migrated to Kisumu.
It becomes even tricky in situations where it's a marriage of convenience, in situations where Alfred Mutua is compelled circumstantially, for one reason or another, to have Jonathan Mweke as his deputy so that he takes care of the other half of the county. It's a very tricky and murky situation, although Jonathan is saying we cannot legislate relationships. Dispute resolution mechanism has to be put down in writing, and that's law, and it's written.
Would it work in a place like Kisumu?
It would make things worse. Too rigid, too uptight, operating by the book. We are human beings. Sometimes we don't need the book. I mean, there's nowhere where it's written if you have so much saliva in your mouth, you have to spit it out.
In fact, what the Deputy Governor is saying, it could be given an example of Embu, where two communities were seeing problems. The governor is from Embu, the Deputy Governor is from Bere, and the senator is from Bere, and the allegations were the senator was cooking up the problems. So that can bring a serious community.
I think the point here is not just about deputy governors and dispute resolution. It's about interference. Because what the governors are talking about, it's about interference. Most, and I think 98% or 95% of the problems facing governors and deputy governors came from outside.
What do you mean by outside? Senators?
By either the senator or the party leader. For example, look, he talked about me not attending the summit.
Wiper Summit.
The Wiper Summit. I believe and I know that my problems with the deputy emanated from the leadership of the Wiper Party.
Is that why you quit Wiper?
I've not quit Wiper. I'm a card-holding member of Wiper. You see, so if it comes from there, if it's being sanctioned by the leaders of the county to try and bring me down, cut me down to size, teach me a lesson, I already know that. They cause a crisis and they want to be the solution to the crisis. I'm not going to fall into that trap. So I'm not going to take myself to the same people who brought about the problem for them to be the solution to the problem. But it is important. The issue of being able to have a dispute resolution mechanism is key. I disagree. It does not need to go through the Ministry of Devolution.
Why not?
Remember, the Ministry of Devolution is a ministry in the national government. We have independent and governments, the 47 county governments, and it is important. That's why there's a summit. which is chaired with the president. When you start using another ministry now to start overseeing a county, it will bring more problems because you start centralizing and control.
Then what would you suggest, given the behavior that you deny?
Yeah, there needs to be a mechanism with the summit, with the president, where rules of engagement are put into place, whereby the Council of Governors and stages can be taken through. As he said, the Council of Governors can have a solution which can be escalated to the summit, which is now chaired by the president and others, about how to sort out some of these issues. But more or less...
So you wouldn't submit to the authority of the Council of Governors, but you would submit to the authority of the president?
You submit to the Council of Governors. It's very important, because as Council of Governors we work together. When a letter is issued, when an invitation is made by the Council of Governors, all governors obey, whether you like it or not. We've already agreed to that.
Except for you, though.
No, I never received any invitation. You see, and I don't like it when people throw aspersions at me, and I'm right here to say I never received a letter. I swore an oath to tell the truth. I never received an invitation, a letter inviting me to a dispute resolution. You know, Machakos has not withheld the insurance of the deputy governor. I can swear on it, and I'll take to court anybody who repeats those statements, because that's throwing aspersions on my character. I'm not an evil person. I'm a human being. So it is important to sieve the propaganda and tell the reality. Yes, are there problems? There are problems. Should it be better? It can be better. But let's tell the truth as it is.
In your case.
But in my case, if there is a summit tomorrow said, let's get together, not the summit but the Council of Governors, you know, I'm available. Okay. I have not refused.
In your case, since you have had problems with the deputy, emanating from outside, what you call outside, which is targeted by the governor or the leadership of WIPE.
Yes.
In your case, how would you like in the future, in the case when you find yourself you can't work with the next governor, how would you like deputy? How would you like him removed? What would your suggestion be? You don't want to live in a situation
so
like
that
that.
focus is on development for the people and not...
How would you like suggest?
For the deputy to be removed?
Yes.
No, I just think, let me tell you, you know, the law as
Should the deputy be removed?
No, you see, the law as it is right now that calls for the process of impeachment through the Senate, it's a good law. Whether you like it or not, whether it favors you, whether it worked for you last time or not, it's a good law, because also you have to contain, there needs to be steps of removing people. It should not just be an automatic thing that you don't like somebody, so all of a sudden you remove them. You know, I never impeached my deputy governor. I don't have powers to impeach him. That was by the County Assembly of Machakos, you know, after he said exactly that people who do not come from Machakos should not be employed in Machakos, that people who are foreign, who are other tribes, should not work in Machakos, that people who come from other regions in Okambani should not be in Machakos government. In other words, going back to, you know, the issues of national cohesion.
Which the Senate found untrue.
No, the Senate actually, upheld that. If you look at the recommendations that came from the committee, they found him guilty.
So
actually all those things. He was not impeached because there were no numbers at the time when the vote was being taken at that evening, you know. So there's a political game.
So let's come back to the question.
When I'm working, I'll send you the report. Actually, what I shall do, I'll post the report on my website or on our website so that people can actually find what the Senate, independent Senate committee found out. Okay. Maybe you need to read it.
Right. So let's come back to the question, though. The law says the law provides for the impeachment of governors. Given that we're trying to work out how we, you know, resolve these difficult tensions between governors and deputies, should there be a mechanism for the exit of deputies, or should we take the example of Nyeri, where if the governor goes, we all go?
It's one government.
And I think that would be the best scenario, because of all this interference. Because you came in together, you should go together. So if one is gone, the other one goes, then the deputy can run for re-election and comes in. Because this scenario where people come in, think that they can destabilize the governor, so the deputy takes over, which is the game that has been played since 2013, 2014.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So in terms of impeachment. But for other issues, for example, if there is death, for example, the deputy can take over, or if the governor resigns, can take over. But when it comes to impeachment, it means that impeachment means you have no confidence in this governor and the governor and the deputy are tied together.
Right.
So you all go with your county executive and you get a new team in.
Okay.
But, you know, because that's a decision that is made.
Okay.
It's not an unfortunate one.
Yeah. Just so that Dr. Mutua, and he's my friend, so we are not here to be at each other's
No, we're very good
yeah?
friends, by the way, yeah.
So that you don't feel victimized. Yeah. Really, all the meetings we've had with the Council of Governors, yeah, where all the governors attend, or most of the governors attend, most of the deputy governors attend, you never come for any of those meetings. Now you're asking for proof, there's minutes. Actually, even in the Council of Governors, when the committee was set up, it was a meeting at Safari Park between governors and deputy governors. You never came for that meeting. So I think the thing about you not knowing that these things were there and that somebody was trying to save the people of Machakos County are untrue, that you didn't know about that. We tried in all things. When you're talking about outside interference, I think we need to just drill a little bit deeper into what outside interference means, right?
Yes.
We are governments at the counties because we have to do things for our people.
You're opening up a Pandora's box, but go ahead.
No, that's fine. It's not a Pandora's box. I'm discussing. We're discussing real national issues here, yeah? So in a county, you're supposed to deliver services, infrastructure. It has to be for the good of the people. Now, in the counties, there's different leaders. The governor is only one of them. Now, if you look deeper and you're talking about interference, you're not getting along with your deputy governor, you're not getting along with the Senate of Machakos, you're not getting along with the women rep of Machakos, you're not getting along with most of the MPs in Machakos, especially from the populous areas. So you're kind of like working alone in Machakos.
It looks like
to the detriment
no, let me
just a minute, let him finish, because we haven't interrupted.
No, but all the other leaders in Machakos County. So my question is, if you can't lead your deputy or have your deputy follow you, how are you going to lead the people of Machakos? If you can't come and sit down with your senator and have a conversation, put away the ego, the power, the politics, the mistrust, and do what is right for the people of Machakos, then how can you lead Machakos effectively? How can you sit down and say, I'm the only leader in Machakos, and any other leader trying to help us develop Machakos together is interfering with my government? I kind of don't agree with that.
I think the truth you need to tell people is that the people...
You are not from Machakos, to make it clear.
No, I'm not from
You are from
I'm from Kitui.
Kitui?
Yes.
Okay.
The
Let it
people
be known.
from Kitui.
So you have no interest in that
born
area.
and bred in Nairobi. Originally from Kitui.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, the people I'm not able to work with, or I'm able to work with everybody, I invite them. The senator and the 3-4 MPs are all from Wiper. So the non-Wiper MPs, I'm a very close confidence. You know, I've got MP for Mwala, MP for Yata, MP for Masinga.
So this sounds
MP
like a party.
So it's a party issue. So the people he keeps on rattling here, making look like Alfred Mutua cannot work with people, are actually, he's opening the Pandora's box. The problem they are in Machakos lies within Wiper. Wiper has been very uncomfortable with me as a governor.
So the problem is not Bernard Kiala.
No. Well, Bernard Kiala is a problem also because he's allowing...
It's a manifestation of the party politics.
But you see, that interference of Wiper within Machakos is a problem. All the non-Wiper MPs and leaders are working very well with me. We are doing development work. It's only the Wiper ones that have probably been put into a room and told to Maliza huyu Mutua, you cannot work with Mutua because Mutua is ABCD. This is how I see it. This is how I see it. And it is important to note, that's when I said, and Mutegi had a good point about outside interference. If Wiper was not so busy trying to pull down Alfred Mutua, trying to stop me from doing things that maybe some Wiper leaders have not done in our region for many years, there would be no problem. We would still be working together and moving together. And so, when I'm working, tell people the truth, because you know, let me finish. I'm just finding out because we have all these issues. You know, I remember the one time I talked to you. You told me you can't work with Kidero. You think of running against Kidero in the coming years.
And that is the disagreement he said they have all the time.
And we discussed the different options. And then I'm saying, that's why I compliment him. He's very smart. He's able to sieve things and be able to put them on the table and look at the bigger picture. you know, and do all those things.
So we are speaking to your PR skills.
We have to take a break now.
It's a reality.
Respond and then we'll take a break.
Just a very quick response, because again I'm very competent to talk about Wiper on authority, and I like talking facts because that's what gets people ahead, right? Is there a problem between or conflict between Wiper and Dr. Mutua? Yes. Now Dr. Mutua is on record over and over again. You guys in the media, you can replay those clips of belittling the Wiper party leader, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka.
Give me an example.
An example. Actually started almost immediately you got elected at Mulinge's funeral, when you started saying this guy has been here for 30 years, he does nothing, he has no vision, he's been a vice president, he's blah blah blah, he has done nothing for the people. So of course the Wiper people started reacting to protect their leader.
So where did they say that?
Now you'll never find a clip anywhere. You'll never find a clip anywhere of the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka saying anything negative against Dr. Mutua. So you can see where the problem is. But the clips are there all the time, even when you are opening, when you are launching your party. Maendeleo Chap Chap, the other day at Bomas of Kenya. First of all, you are alone, so I don't know which other leaders you said were there. You are even the MC alone. And at that point, again, you belittled the party leader. So I wonder now, how do you belittle somebody who has just won the African dignitary man of the year, somebody who's been a vice president, somebody who's been a leader of the community for 30 years. But I'm not surprised. You belittled Obama. You said Obama is such a small guy, you have even no time for him. He's now the president of the United States. So you have a history of belittling people who achieve a lot.
Okay, so we have to take a break now, and when we come back from the break,
I'd like to reply to some of these allegations.
You'd like to reply to the allegations? You respond to the allegations. You respond to the allegations, and then we will come back and talk about the resolution of the tensions between deputies and their governors, so that we're not straying into personal matters. We'd like to hear from you. Should the office of deputy governor be abolished? The law changed to assign a role specific to functions. Should there be independent elections for the office of deputy governor? Tell us what you think. Our hashtag on Twitter is Cheche.